Fine, Karen said, her voice deadly quiet. Keep your Boulder, Janet. But don't come crying to me when our property values plummet and this place turns into a trailer park. She gathered her materials with shaking hands, ignoring the scattered applause and someone's sarcastic, "Thank you, Karen." The community center doors slammed behind her with a bang that echoed through the parking lot. But Karen wasn't defeated, she was evolving. Back home, she sat in her kitchen surrounded by HOA binders, community photos, and her laptop glowing with property websites. If they wanted to play hardball, she'd show them exactly what a real HOA president could accomplish. Her phone buzzed with a text from her ex-husband. "Heard about your meeting. Maybe it's time to step back." Karen deleted the message without responding. She had work to do. Outside her window, she could see Janet's Boulder, now adorned with solar lights that twinkled like stars around the pool. Despite herself, Karen had to admit it looked kind of magical. The admission made her angrier than ever. 3 weeks later, Karen stood in her bathroom mirror at 5:30 a.m., dark circles under her eyes, practicing her resignation speech for the third time. The petition to remove her from the HOA board had garnered 47 signatures, nearly every household in Willowbrook Estates. "I hereby resign from my position as..." Her voice cracked. She tried again. "I hereby..." A loud crash from outside interrupted her rehearsal. Karen rushed to her bedroom window and gasped. A tree had fallen across the community pool area, its massive trunk crushing the decorative fence and missing Janet's Boulder by mere inches. Karen grabbed her robe and ran outside, joining the small crowd already gathering around the damage. The tree, a 60-foot oak from the Greenbelt, had split during the night's windstorm, taking out the pool's filtration system and cracking the concrete deck. "Insurance won't cover this for weeks," Bob Martinez was saying to the group. "Pool's going to be closed all summer." Karen studied the scene, her HOA president instincts kicking in despite everything. The tree removal alone would cost thousands. The pool repairs, the new fencing, the landscaping restoration. It would drain their community reserves and require a special assessment from every homeowner. "Actually," Karen said quietly, surprised by her own voice, "Janet's Boulder might save us money." Everyone turned to stare at her. Janet raised an eyebrow, clearly expecting another attack. "The Boulder can anchor a temporary retaining wall while we wait for insurance," Karen continued, her mind racing through logistics. "If we position it correctly, we can prevent erosion and create a safe barrier for maybe $200 in supplies instead of $2,000 in emergency fencing." Janet blinked. "You want to use my Boulder?" "It's strategically positioned," Karen admitted, the words tasting foreign in her mouth, "and it's already established in the landscape." For the first time in months, Janet smiled at her. "Well, I'll be damned, Karen. You might be onto something." The next 4 hours transformed Karen's relationship with her neighbors. She coordinated the tree removal service, negotiated with insurance adjusters, and worked alongside residents to implement emergency safety measures. Her organizational skills, the same ones that had made her a tyrannical HOA president, proved invaluable in crisis management. By noon, Janet's Boulder had become the cornerstone of their temporary solution, decorated with caution tape and positioned to redirect foot traffic safely around the damaged area. "You know," Janet said, wiping dirt from her hands, "you're not half bad when you're not trying to control everything." Karen looked around at her neighbors, really looked at them. Mrs. Chen was sharing homemade sandwiches. Bob was teaching kids how to properly stack debris. Tom was making everyone laugh with stories about his own home improvement disasters. "I think," Karen said slowly, "I've been trying to solve the wrong problems." That evening, Karen stood before another packed community meeting, but instead of PowerPoint slides about violations, she held a simple piece of paper. "I'm not resigning," she announced, ignoring the surprised murmurs. "But I am changing. Effective immediately, we're implementing a new community improvement program. Instead of violation notices, we'll have monthly neighborhood projects. Instead of emergency meetings about boulders, we'll have pool parties." Janet started clapping first, then Mrs. Patterson, then even Dave Chen. But as Karen walked home that night, she noticed something that made her pause. A new family was moving into the Henderson house, and their moving truck was parked slightly over the property line. Karen's left eye twitched once, then stopped. She walked inside, leaving the violation notice book untouched on her kitchen counter. Karen Whitmore stood in her manicured front yard at 6:47 am, clutching a measuring tape and wearing her signature HOA board member polo shirt, when she spotted it, a decorative boulder the size of a washing machine, sitting exactly 3 inches into the community pool area's landscaping border. Her left eye began twitching, the same tick that had appeared during last month's great mailbox height crisis of 2024. Jamie T. Morrison. Karen's voice cracked like a whip across Willowbrook Estates. Your geological monstrosity is in VIO. Janet poked her head out from behind the boulder, garden hose in hand, water streaming across the perfectly symmetrical concrete surrounding their community pool. At 62, Janet had survived 3 divorces, 2 bankruptcies, and 1 tornado, but nothing had prepared her for Karen's reign of HOA terror. It's a water feature, Karen, Janet called back, not bothering to hide her smirk. For ambience. Ambience? Karen's voice rose 3 octaves. According to Section 4.72 of the Community Guidelines, decorative elements cannot exceed 18 inches in height within 15 feet of shared amenities. She waved a thick binder above her head like a battle flag. The morning joggers slowed to witness the spectacle. Mrs. Chen pretended to re-tie her shoelaces. Bob Martinez suddenly developed an intense interest in his smartphone. Even the landscaping crew stopped their leaf blowers to watch. You know what your problem is, Karen? Janet straightened up, hands on her hips. You've got too much time and not enough joy in your life. Karen's face flushed crimson. In her 3 years as HOA board president, she issued 247 violations, mediated 18 disputes, and maintained property values with military precision. She'd sacrificed her marriage, alienated her children, and dedicated every waking moment to preserving the sanctity of Willowbrook Estates. Joy doesn't maintain property values, Janet. Joy doesn't prevent our neighborhood from becoming a circus. Karen's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. That boulder moves by sunset, or I'm calling an emergency board meeting. You wouldn't dare. Karen's smile was razor-thin. Try me. As Karen marched back toward her house, her mind was already racing. Emergency board meetings required a 48-hour notice to all residents. She'd need to draft violation notices, photograph the boulder from multiple angles, and prepare her presentation slides. This wasn't just about Janet anymore. This was about respect, authority, and the very soul of their community. But as she reached her front door, Karen glanced back at the pool area. Janet was sitting on the boulder now, feet dangling in the water, looking more relaxed than anyone had a right to be at 7 am. For just a moment, something twisted in Karen's chest, not anger, but something else entirely. The Willowbrook Estates Community Center buzzed with more tension than a championship wrestling match. Karen had called her emergency meeting for Thursday evening, and every folding chair was occupied. Residents clutched coffee cups and wore expressions ranging from amused to annoyed to openly hostile. Karen stood at the podium, her PowerPoint presentation titled The Boulder Crisis, a 3-hour values glowing behind her. She'd spent 2 days preparing 17 slides, complete with property value projections and comparison photos from declining neighborhoods. As you can see in slide 4, Karen clicked her laser pointer. Allowing oversized decorative elements creates a slippery slope toward community degradation. It's a rock, Karen, shouted Mike from the back row. A perfectly normal rock. A 42 inch tile. Karen snapped back, her voice echoing off the acoustic tile ceiling. Today it's Janet's boulder. Tomorrow it's garden gnomes. Next week, someone's parking a food truck in their driveway. Janet sat in the front row, arms crossed, radiating defiance. She'd brought backup. Her sister Linda, her neighbor Tom, and surprisingly, quiet Mrs. Patterson, who usually avoided all community drama. I moved to dismiss this ridiculous proceeding, Janet announced, standing up. All in favor of telling Karen to find a hobby that doesn't involve harassing her neighbors. Hands shot up across the room. Karen watched in horror as her authority crumbled in real time. You can't vote to dismiss an official HOA proceeding. Karen's voice cracked. I have board authority too. Actually, interrupted Dave Chen, the community's only lawyer, according to our bylaws, any resident can call for a motion to dismiss if a complaint lacks merit. Karen felt the room spinning. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She was protecting them all. Couldn't they see that? Every violation notice, every rule enforcement, every sleepless night spent reviewing community guidelines, it was all for their benefit.